my fellow like-minded people? Welcome back to Great Minds Think Alike. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Nick.
Today we want to talk about how instant gratification is not your friend and why shortcuts are not always the best route to take.
Yeah, instant gratification is the killer of everything. And that is the problem with it also is that in this society, that's what every company markets to. Instant gratification gives you the dopamine hit, the serotonin hit. It gives you that high you need to buy something. So every product, every company is so focused on how to just instantly look at social media, look at things, how to instantly get your attention. And we want to talk about why this is not good and that you have to just be stronger than these marketers.
I blame social media. And I also blame Amazon, places like Amazon. I love the fact that Amazon is a one-stop shop for everything that I want to buy, but it's also dangerous because you can have a product at your doorstep, sometimes same day, but within 2 days most of the time. And it has conditioned us to think that that's like the normal way of living.
Yeah, that we don't have to get off our couch. We don't have to get off our asses. We just click a button and then whatever we need, and let's be honest, Amazon is everything. Everything comes to our doorstep the next day. And although that's a great invention, it comes in handy a lot, it's programming us the wrong way.
Right.
And as a finance guy, it's killing people with their credit cards and with spending. Back in the day, you had to actually go to the store to spend money. You had to consciously get up and go to spend money. Now you can spend money on the toilet, in the shower, on the couch, no matter what you're doing. You can just ding, 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 buy, buy, buy. And you get a hit off of that from instant gratification. And it is dangerous for as good of a tool that Amazon is.
Yeah, and more people are finding it harder than ever to save. I wonder why.
You mean every item in the world is at your fingertips at any moment and you're having trouble saving money? I'm shocked. Are you shocked?
No, and I myself am a Prime member, so I can't even talk that much shit on Amazon, but it's just like it's what we expect now from those platforms.
Yeah, I love Amazon. That's groundbreaking. It's awesome. We're here to talk about why that theory, the whole instant gratification sucks. So Amazon pro tip, this is what I do. She hates me for it because I never am able to order anything on the fly. I do not have Amazon on my phone, only my laptop. That way I can't make any spontaneous decisions on my phone whenever I'm doing things. If I really need to buy something, I have to think about it. And when I get home, open my laptop and consciously do it. And I bet you I've saved hundreds and hundreds of dollars by things that just weren't worth it, or I didn't think of it when I got home. So that's my Amazon hack. Don't have it on your cell phone, only computer. That way you really want it before you buy it.
I can't say I'm that strong, but
you have to create some friction between
boundary.
The stuff. Like the friction to me is not having it on the phone. It stops me from buying things whenever.
And kind of like last week's episode, we're just going to talk about this instant gratification in all of our segments, but it's just going to let it free flow.
Yeah, more of a free form conversation. So, when it comes to instant gratification, other than Amazon, one of the biggest things that hits me from a finance lens. So we'll start there. So one thing I want to start out with instant gratification, because this is super important, especially for your finances, Amazon aside, it's gambling versus investing and what instant gratification has to do with it. So instant gratification makes more people gamblers than investors. Think about it, Gab. When you're gambling, you can make so much money right away. You're at a blackjack table, slots, whatnot, out of nowhere, you gamble on sports, you could just make thousands of dollars just instantly. And you get that instant gratification, and it's like, oh my God, and you want to do it again and again and again. Whereas investing is slower. You need to continuously invest. You have to give time in the market, let the market do its thing, and over a long period of time you build wealth. Whereas gambling is more of an instant thing. And we see people who invest where they end up later on in life and people who gamble too much where they end up later on in life. So that should tell you all you need to know about instant gratification.
It's so funny to me now how gambling is legal and there's ads for FanDuel everywhere.
That should tell you how much you profit. You know how expensive ads are?
Right.
They must be making a lot of freaking money to be able to afford all those ads. And you know where they make them? It's not from you winning.
The house always wins.
Yeah. So throw that out there. But it's a good example. Someone who practices delayed gratification invests and knows over time they're going to be wealthy. Instant gratification leads you towards gambling.
For your investments, I know it's delayed gratification, but it compounds over time. And we've told you guys in earlier episodes to download index funds, high yield savings account. But with your index funds, what you can do is set up automatic payments, forget about it, check it maybe like quarterly, and see how much it's grown. That'll give you a dopamine hit.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's why most people don't get wealthy, because they're attracted to the quick hits on gambling. That's boring. Putting the same amount of money in the index fund, automated, every Friday, a couple hundred's going in there. That is terribly boring. But you know what's not boring? Waking up 10 years later and having hundreds of thousands invested because your money compounded over time because you played the long game. And you know what sucks? Waking up and not being able to pay your mortgage because you gambled everything you had away.
And while we're talking about business, I want to bring up people being an overnight success, because that's never actually the case. You just didn't see their struggle for X amount of years.
Yeah, and if sometimes there may be a case where someone is an overnight success, but it never lasts because they just went viral for something stupid or, something one-hit wonders in music or stuff like that. People who are actually successful and sustain success are usually failures for years until they hit the success part. And people don't see that. They don't see their videos that got no views. They don't see all the work. They just see when they became successful and think it was easy.
And that's the entrepreneurship part that is in the long game, because chasing the shortcuts, it's just not really going to help you out in the long term. It's not going to be sustainable, especially when it comes to content and stuff. Like, you're going to post and you might get 100 views. And what I always say is, if you're talking to a room of 100 people, you would probably be a little bit nervous. So it's okay. That's still a lot of people in one room that are still listening to you and watching you. Businesses are trying to create a brand and community. It's not about just the viral part of it.
Yeah, and if you're so focused on instant gratification, you're going to quit. On every business you try to do, whether it's a content, whether it's something physical, whether it's something mental, you're going to quit because instant gratification doesn't happen in business. You're going to go through very dull years, especially at the beginning where you don't make much and things are tough. But people that understand the delayed gratification part know that they're not working, you're not trading their hours for money, right? While they're working, because you can say, oh my God, I work for free all year. They're trading their time to build a valuable business that they know will pay off in the future.
Right, because it's discouraging seeing the little numbers, the little paychecks, and honestly, like, I do get why people give up, but what people don't see when they're about to give up like that is they're probably on the brink of success. If they were to just power through, you never know what could happen. And that's why if you never give up, your success is inevitable.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially in business, a lot of it's relationship building. Relationships take time to build. You're not going to meet someone one day at an event and all of a sudden they're working with you and you're doing things, right?
And they just immediately trust you. That's not realistic.
Like, you build trust, you build the relationship. It is not an instant gratification. Networking, anything isn't when it comes to business. You have to have that long game in mind. And even worse, if you're thinking short term, you may do some shady things, some shortcuts, cut down on quality, do some things that are very wrong in order to try to get ahead quick. And that's how you lose the game long term.
But it always comes to light when people do that. People
Always.
will always find out, and you may have a good thing going for a little bit, but again, it's not sustainable. So that's why shortcuts are not the move.
Yep, exactly. I'm going to take that as a transition. Shortcuts are not the move, because we wouldn't be talking about delayed gratification on Great Minds Think Alike if we didn't bring in fitness. That is like the number one thing. I want to say a quote. I sent it to on Instagram. It was somebody that was, I'm going to butcher it, but they were basically saying that your physique is the only symbol, like a status symbol, I guess, that can't be bought, that has to be, you have to work hard for. Like, you could have a ton of money, cars, houses, you could just buy in a day. You could inherit millions of dollars overnight and buy a bunch of things, have what you want. But your physical body and the shape you're in, that is a testament of your discipline. That is a testament of your consistency and your appreciation of delayed gratification, because you've done things that suck up front in order to get the result you want.
You can buy lipo, but you can't get tone from lipo.
Exactly. So on that note, with delayed gratification with it, if you're someone in fitness and you don't want to spend the time cooking meals in the gym and literally understand that it's going to take years for your body to change, a lot of people go to steroids as a quick fix for instant gratification. Well, guess what happens? Yeah, you get that instant hit where you get bigger right away, but the studies show that steroids are super unhealthy for you. Your body essentially deteriorates from the inside out. You have acne and pimples and you're angry and your hormones and your body shuts down. So all of that happening just to look a little more ripped for a short amount of time because you don't want to put in the work. Like that is one of the main things with this.
You might have a trip coming up where you think that it's all going to be worth it, but you're going to have lasting effects from that.
Yeah, it's not the right way to go about it. I mean, we've been working out for a long time, and haven't you seen the impact of like just going consistently for years?
Yeah, because I honestly fell off with the gym a little bit when we got Ace. I was just so freaking tired. I feel like I did lose some muscle, but you get right back into it, and it's just that muscle momentum. Wait, what is that?
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory. Okay.
Yeah, and guess what? If you're on steroids, you don't have muscle memory. When you get off you deflate, you get fat, your hormones go all the whack, and that's the price of instant gratification.
Not sustainable.
Whether it's your finances and your business and your fitness, doing these instant tricks to try to get results fast without putting the time and work, it almost always is detrimental to you.
Yeah. And shifting gears, I know we touched on it a little bit already, but with social media, I just feel like we have to touch on that too with lifestyle. Likes, comments, shares, that is all a dopamine hit. Scrolling even is a dopamine hit. And from that, that's where this whole instant gratification really came into effect in our community, our country, and honestly, the world at this point.
Yep. Search engines, AI, you want an answer to something, you get it in 1 minute now. AI is not going to help instant gratification.
People are going to not think anymore is the problem.
Because the past with Google, you researched on the internet. You would look things up, you'd read different articles, and you'd formulate your opinion based off of multiple different sources on the internet. Nowadays with AI, instant gratification. I'll just ask AI, and whatever it says goes, right? You're going to say, oh, on the top of the page, here's my answer. So now we're just going to blindly trust AI, right? Like, you see how this
That's
can be problematic?
What it is. Yeah. And with social media, there's business owners, content creators, aspiring influencers who are posting every single day, and they are not getting the results that they're hoping for. And instead of giving up, if you keep posting, it's, again, that community that you're trying to build. You're not just posting just to go viral once. And honestly, virality is not really sustainable either. Like, unless you have millions of followers, you're not really going to get tens of thousands. Yeah, you're not going to get on every single post. It's not going to always be viral.
I like what you said about that. What word you use for viral?
Virality.
Is that a real word? Or?
I think so.
If it's not, we patent it. We call it.
No, I think it's real.
So that's a good point, because going viral is instant gratification. I see it all the time. People get one good video out, and then all of a sudden they're the top of the world, but then they crash and no one ever hears them again.
Yeah.
Because they got instant gratification from one video, but they didn't actually build it out and continue doing the little things.
Yeah.
Little things compound over time. And, big things that you do up front, not the correct way, burn out.
And a lot of real estate classes that we've been going to are AI motivated, and we talk about social media in these classes, and something, again, that we're talking about because we're business owners with our real estate pages, we are going to post, and it's okay that we are not getting a lot of views because you're not trying to post it for virality. You're posting it because you're trying to find your people. You're trying to find your audience. And it's credibility. It's your portfolio. It has nothing to do with likes. It has nothing to do with comments, shares.
I always say to you, I go, my social media is my resume.
Yeah.
You see me, I post a lot of personal stuff. You'll see my friends. I'm a real person. You see my videos. I don't care if the video gets 1,000 likes or 1 like when I do the real estate, because it's a part of my resume. It's informational. It just shows you what I'm talking about and what I do. So, and that's the delayed gratification part of it, because I'm posting for the long term, not just to get a bunch of hits on likes real quickly.
Exactly.
And that's how you all should treat your businesses too. Whatever your business is that you're promoting, don't worry if it's not blowing up. Just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, we're going to talk about real estate and a few quick things. If you are a buyer, wait for that house. And especially if you're working with the right realtor, they're going to encourage you to do that. They're not just going to be like, say, hey, let's just get a sale.
That's very genuine advice for someone whose job it is to sell homes.
But because I actually care.
Yeah.
And I actually am building relationships. And that's what differentiates me and like-minded realtors like me from people who are just trying to make a quick sale, because you can be successful if you want to just work on your own time frame and, make a lot of money. It doesn't start out like that, though. And especially at the market that we're in, Jesus.
Yeah, some buyers need that advice.
Yeah.
Not this second. Let's pull aside for a little bit. Let's because you could get a house, but it might not be the right one for you. You being able to assess, you guys, you said you wanted this, this, and this. Being compromisable is important, right? But we're compromising too much.
Yeah.
Let's hold our horses and keep an eye out. Like, you need a realtor that's going to be honest and say that too, and not just push you into every opportunity.
Yeah, and
because that delayed gratification will get you and your family the right home.
Exactly. And that's why you should use me. For our sellers too, we don't want to list emotionally. We want to make sure that we're level-headed, and we are, because the instant gratification with that is, oh, multiple showings, multiple offers. You're not going to get that if you overprice. Take your emotions out of it and realize that, what we're also going to talk about, we have buyer's fatigue right now, and the market is shifting.
Yes, so that was a great transition to what we want to touch on for our real estate topic, buyer's fatigue. So it's mid-July right now. If you go back to our earlier episodes of the podcast, we'll be speaking about the market differently depending on the time we recorded. Today, we are seeing buyer's fatigue. I know you're seeing it. I am seeing it. And we want to explain what that is and obviously what it means in our marketplace, because we can only speak for the New Jersey real estate market where we're working. But Gab, tell me how what have you seen with buyer's fatigue? Because you work with sellers and buyers, so you have a different perspective than me.
Yeah.
I'm only buyers. So I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, one, I just want to share that the rest of the country is also shifting to buyer's markets. You read left to right. This is what I tell my clients. New Jersey is going to see the last effects of that. So we're seeing the shifts. But with the buyer's fatigue, we are seeing it, I'm going to bring up with inspections. If the sellers are going to be decent human beings, we'll call it, and give you a little bit of leeway if there's something damaged or there's an issue, and they're going to be able to give you some credit, we can find a negotiation, we can meet halfway somewhere. If they're able to do that, fine, great, the deal's going to carry on. If they're not able to do that, buyers are backing out and walking away.
Yeah, right now, like this summer, a lot of deals are dying after going under contract due to the buyer stepping out. We're seeing more than the past 2, 3, 4 years, buyers are canceling deals after. Some of it has to do with buyer's remorse, but some of it has to do with fatigue and not bending over to every demand that the sellers make. The past few years, buyers have bent over to everything the sellers wanted. They've been offering so far over asking, waiving every contingency, waiving inspections, not asking for any concessions, anything that goes wrong, saying we'll handle it, right? They've been kind of desperately buying. What I'm seeing now is there's less offers on each home, and when buyers get
They're
in the
not
house,
desperate anymore.
they're not bending over as much. Buyers are putting their foot down in a sense, and they're backing out. They've hit the point of fatigue where not in a malicious way, but they've just had enough. Buyers can't take it anymore.
They're standing on business, honestly, these buyers, and I'm so here for it because at a certain point, the market was just never going to stop if the sellers just kept getting this instant gratification of, oh, my house is selling within 5 days on the market. It needed to level out because the prices, everything, this is just becoming astronomical. And I am happy that there's buyer fatigue right now, to be honest with you.
Because it's going to cause a much needed correction.
Yeah.
And this isn't a negative thing for the sellers, right? Sellers have gotten what they want, their arms, their legs, and then some, right? They've gotten their cherry on top, their chips with the dip the past few years.
Chips with the dip.
They've had everything, right? So sellers are still getting theirs, right?
I like that one.
I know. They bought their home for $300. They're still selling it for $600, right?
Right.
They're getting there, but it's just some of these sellers are looking at this market, and I'll say the market in July is not the market in April. It's not the market in May anymore. It has slowed down a bit, and they're looking and they're thinking, oh, well, every past sale I should get 10% more than it. And, oh, well, that's home sold for $7. I should get $780, right? And sellers are listing way too high, getting a little greedy in the market, and we're finally hitting that point where buyers are saying, no, that's too much.
Sellers are trying to double what they paid for the home, and it's just not realistic. And a lot of the time, original kitchen, original bathroom, honestly, be realistic and give me a fucking break.
Double, you say double what they made. The important part is double what they paid for 5 years ago. This isn't 20 years doubling. There are people who bought homes 2018, 19, 2020 who are trying to more than double their profit. And sure, we could get close to doubling, right? Home prices went up. We're not seeing a crash. They're not going down. Sellers will still get a lot more than they bought it for. However, there is a correction that we're seeing where, let's say 2 summers ago, there was 30 bids on every house. Now we're seeing 3 to 4. So there's less buyers bidding on the homes now, and people were climbing over each other over asking. ask. Now we're seeing people get some offers at asking. We're seeing price reductions because things are listed too high. And we're seeing homes sit because buyers are no longer doing whatever they can. They're stepping back and saying this is ridiculous.
This housing crisis that the government is telling you about, I'm just going to say right now, there's a lot of homes on the market. They're just overpriced. And if you actually want to make a deal happen, buyers can come in with the fair price, and sellers, just so you know, your home is going to sell for what buyers are willing to pay for it.
Yes.
That's what your home is worth.
Yes, just because you have a sentimental attachment to it and you think it's worth the most money in the whole neighborhood, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you'll get out.
That's why you have
market.
to take the emotions out of it. And that's why I said that. Like, taking emotions out of it, that is going to be the delayed gratification because you're going to actually get the results.
Yeah. So we usually talk about buyers on here, but let's talk about how sellers can be smart in this market, because sellers have to adapt as the market changes. So one, like you just said, take the emotions out of it. You have to not just want to get as much as possible. You need to list your house at a smart price.
I mean, I will say it's tough with the comps because the comps that we're seeing are from the previous markets now because we are going through a shift. So I will give that in terms of price point, but how we can avoid that is maybe listing like a little bit under where you think it could be right now, because that will create a bidding war. Those homes are flying
You'll
off.
get traction. The worst thing you could do is list it way too high and have it sit for a few months, because then you lose all your leverage. The buyers smell blood in the water like a shark, where I'll tell you firsthand from my experience, whenever I have buyers that see a house that's been on the market 40, 60, 100 days, the first thing they want to do is bust the seller's balls, like with lack of better
They
terms.
want to
They're
offer
like,
lower,
yep.
and as they should, because if it's sitting, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
If it's sitting on the market, I'm sorry, even past 20 days at this point, if it's sitting, there's what's going on. You're going to see price reductions at that point.
Sometimes there may be something wrong with the home, and sometimes it was just listed too high, where a seller didn't listen to their real estate agent's advice and just wants to make a bunch of money off of it, and buyers aren't jumping on it as much. So as a seller, you need to make sure that you're listing realistically, because if you go too high, you're losing all the leverage, and then your house may actually sell for less than the lower list price that you started at, because now you have buyers asking for concessions and lowballing you and stuff. And even if they get the house, they may back out after when they see the roof has to be replaced. Or 2 years ago, there was no discussions on roofs and seller credits. It was, oh, this roof is broken, this house needs this. Someone's like, I'll buy it, I'll buy it, I'll buy it, I'll buy it, I'll give you more money, I'll buy it for more. Now people are stepping back and saying, that roof's broken, I want this 20 grand less than what you said.
And that's why I said that about inspections before. I mean, if you have a decent human being on both sides of the transaction, the deal is going to be a lot smoother.
Yeah, exactly. And for buyers, this doesn't mean going lowball. This doesn't mean it's a buyer's market. We're still in New Jersey. It is still a seller's market. Let's make that clear. We are just seeing the early signs of a shift, and it's due to buyer's fatigue. So don't be listening to this as a buyer and say, oh, now's the time to go lowball these offers and make crappy offers on everything, because some of these homes are listed competitively. Sellers that take advice from their agent have a strong list price, and some homes still have bidding wars. But just be wary, not every home you need to bid above asking for. Some of them, work with your realtor, look at the comps, ask about the other offers. Some of these houses are going to go for less than what they bid for, and it's your job as the buyer to work with a good real estate team that's going to sniff that out and make sure you're putting in a smart offer.
With all that being said, instant gratification is not going to get you the results that you want long term. Mm-hmm. We want to talk here about sustainability. That's another one of our whys. That's why, it's a huge reason why we're sitting here today. And I think it's so important to talk about. I'm actually surprised we haven't talked about this yet.
Yeah, I know. And I love to practice what we preach. Like, even with this podcast, we're not seeing insane success with it. We appreciate every one of you that's listening.
Yes, we love you guys so much.
It hasn't blown up, and we've been working on this for almost 2 years now.
Well,
we're going to keep at it.
Under wraps, we've been working on it for that long, but God's never going to put you into something that you can't handle. And I think we're also dealing with a transition. We told you guys, and we were honest that we had burnout, and this is not a linear journey, entrepreneurship. It's, we're going up and down, and that's okay. We shifted to bi-weekly. It's a little bit more sustainable for us, and you have to be real with yourself. What is actually going to be sustainable for me to get the results that I desire?
And believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself and what you're working on, like we've said in the past, if you're passionate about what you're doing, you'll get through the tough times. Like, we know
Exactly.
that we want to help people, that people need to hear this. We need to hear this. We're not perfect.
We do.
We're sitting here doing all this stuff. We're not perfect. A lot of times we say things in the episode because we need to apply it in our lives. And we're teaching ourselves a lesson as much as you. And that's what keeps us going with this podcast, because we know at least one of you out there is listening to this and having a better week because of it, making a better decision, believing in themselves, going for something. And, you know, we hope that you guys continue to do so, and we're here with you along on the journey.
Yeah, so we hope this episode resonated with you guys.
Yeah.
If you could leave us a 5-star review, we'd really greatly appreciate it. It helps us out so much.
Yeah, and feedback. Let us know. Do you like when we have the note cards and we have more structured topics? Do you like this free flow? Be honest. If you say you sound all mumble jumbled with this free flow, right? We want to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
We think it's important we do, different styles. Sometimes we have it all figured out down to the T, or we're going to talk about when. Sometimes we're just shooting off the hip like today.
Yeah.
So let us know what you want to see more of.
But again, like episode 25, we're still seeing what works. We're still seeing and feeling out what you guys like. So let us know, drop it in the comments, and we'll see you guys not next week, the week after.
See you in 2 weeks.
All right, bye guys. Thank you
Have
for
a good one.
listening.
Out.